Welcome back to the spring semester of 2023 for PSY 405, Senior Research Part 2. I'm just going to do a quick video overview of the D2L page. We do have a few people from the class, 5 I believe, who will not be able to attend class, either because they're studying abroad or because they have conflicts with other required courses in their schedules. And you all know that, you know who you are and you know which groups you're with. So I wanted to make sure that I just went over some things especially for those of you who do not get to be present physically in class. So when you get onto the landing page, you will see the usual things that are present, a brief version of the content browser, a calendar, and some other useful information. You're going to spend most of your time on the D2L page, just like you did last semester, in the content browser. This video will be posted in the orientation to the course page. As usual with D2L setups, you have your information about your instructors, and all of our contact information. So just like last semester, if you want to meet with us, you can call, you can email, and you can use the bookings app to book an appointment with either of us in person or online. The course expectations and the purpose of the course are outlined, including the course learning outcomes and the connection to the departmental outcomes. This is material that's also present in your physical syllabus that you can either download and print out or just view online here on D2L, and I'll talk more about the syllabus in a moment. What we try to do with our D2L pages is have duplication of information from the syllabus in chunks so that students have easy access to those pieces of information. So your syllabi, you have several versions here that you can use. There's a Word version of the syllabus if you want to download and print out your syllabus. There's also a PDF version of the syllabus, excuse me, that you can view pretty easily online. Syllabi these days have gotten really long because we have been asked to include loads and loads of very specific information about policies and procedures at both the course level and the university level. So be aware that is the case. Some students have been asking, in my courses anyway, for PDF version or a Word version of just the calendar so that they can have, without all of the extra pages that are usually in a syllabus, so that they can just look at the calendar. So I have included those here. There is a PDF version of the calendar, which includes all of your assignments and identification of which ones are individual assignments and which ones are team assignments, what day they're due and what time they're due. So one of your first tasks of the semester is getting these due dates and times and assignments into your personal calendar. Some other elements that are included on the D2L page, there is a whole laundry list of resources and policies. These are university-wide resources and policies. This information is also present in your syllabus, but do know that you can access these kinds of information here. I will highlight specifically the technology piece of things. You may need to reach out to IT, in particular if you are needing to get access to the virtual private network, the VPN, in order to use SPSS off campus. And we'll be talking about that more extensively in the future, and we'll include in one of the weekly modules detailed information about accessing SPSS through the Zero client. Most of you have had experience doing that in one form or another during your research methods course. You'll be asked to do that again this semester as a part of doing your data analysis. For those of you who are not going to be on campus either because you're studying abroad or you're just, doing student teaching or whatever it is, you will likely have to access SPSS remotely. So make sure that if you do not currently have VPN access, that you put your application in as soon as possible. And I will make sure that in an email form, I include some separate access to the documents that are associated with it. But it is posted in one of the weekly modules, so I'll point that out as well. Where you're going to spend most of your time, my guess is in the weekly modules. So we have a D2L page basically for each week of the semester. This will be helpful, especially since we only meet face-to-face once a week on Tuesdays. So for example, in week 1, there's a set of objectives, things that we want to accomplish, and then a set of tasks. And this should look pretty familiar. It's basically how we set things up last time around. This week we'll be asking you to read your syllabus, put your deadlines into your personal calendar. We'll ask that you work with your team, especially if you have members of your team who are not able to physically attend class for whatever reason, that you come up with a plan and you stick with that plan for making sure that those individuals are wrapped in to the process and are fully engaged with the work of the team. The first week, we also ask that you recommit to your team participation contract. We used to have like a physical re-signing of this document, but we don't do the document in a physical form anymore. So we ask that during this first week, you reread what the expectations are for you in terms of meeting your obligations to your team, and then just sort of psychologically recommit to that. Speaking of commitments, last semester we did have some challenges, some difficulties with some individuals in the class. If it was sort of perceived to be a work day where there was no activity on the syllabus that needed to be done that day, that people just sort of didn't come to class. That is a mistake. Now, in 405, it's an even bigger mistake because we only have opportunities to face-to-face meet with you in your teams once a week. So you really need to commit to coming to class every week. Now, for those of you who are unable to attend, what we may want to do is arrange a way for you to work in your team context through some sort of virtual access, or if you are on campus but you have a class conflict, setting up a time where your team will meet with your faculty advisor. And we can work all of that out in the first week so that we make sure that we adequately work in the people who cannot physically be present. The other couple of things that you need to be doing the first week, get a handle on where you are in terms of your IRB proposal and organize your data collection materials. Now, what I've done now, I've just walked you through 1 week. Each week is going to be kind of set up this way so that you'll have kind of an overview, a set of things that we hope to accomplish over the course of the week, and so on. So like in week 2, we're going to be working on writing the method section that you will include in your research report, completing any kind of remaining IRB tasks. In week 3, we're going to do something that seems counterintuitive, but it actually makes sense. We're going to deal with some paperwork that needs to happen in order to secure your participation in Scholar Day, but it's also a good chance to really get a big picture kind of look at your project and where it's going. By week 4, we will start looking at getting our data collection started. We'll be talking about using Sona and SurveyMonkey because many of you will be doing surveys to collect your data. So we'll be making sure that we are all up to date on those processes. By week 5, we really hope that you will be getting your data collection closer and closer to being completely underway. We will be doing some things in class to revisit your research questions and hypotheses, and we'll start building out a data analysis plan during that week. Week 6, we want you to be collecting data. So you will be refining your data analysis plan, and you'll be getting started with your data collection. During this period of time, it can be really easy to kind of lose contact with people. Make sure that you are staying connected with both your faculty mentor and with the members of your team, especially for those teams where you have people who can't be in class once a week. So you've got a sense, I'm not going to go through every week of the semester, but each weekly module, and I started to build in comics just because it's important to laugh now and then. The weekly modules really spell out for you exactly what needs to happen and when. As usual, we will communicate with you in person in class on Tuesdays and otherwise through email. So we are both really looking forward to getting back into class and really looking forward to seeing how your research projects that you proposed last semester turn out.